What is up, everybody? It's your boy, Bad Little Gemini here today, and today we're going to be reacting to the Humanist Report. They have this piece on Candace Owens and sort of the, infighting that's happening in the Republican Party today. We're going to be taking a look at it, so sit back, grab your popcorn, you know what to do, hit that like button. Let's get into it.
Candace Owens is an evil, twisted human being.
You go yourself, you demonic scum.
Candace Owens is going to get Erica Kirk.
You know what? And here's the thing. Off rip, just gotta say, off rip, we always knew that this rift was gonna happen between Candace Owens and the Maga cult, okay? They used her as a prop, but as soon as she starts saying things that they don't agree with, they're all scrambling to trash her. But the problem is, Candace Owens has a pretty decent base of people who follow her, and she realized that the issue of Israel, right, is a very divisive issue among the MAGA party. There's half of the MAGA party, or half of Republicans who want to support Israel, and the other half is Republicans who don't want to support Israel, and she's fucking farming right now off of that, and off of the death of Charlie Kirk, which I'm sure they're gonna get into it right now.
The gods have truly shined their light upon us today, my friends, because the entire right-wing grifter sphere is the most outraged they've been since Bud Light decided to put a trans woman's face on a beer can. And the reason why they're angry is very, very funny. But why are they so apoplectic, you ask? Well, it's because Candace Owens decided to treat one of them the same way she's treated other people for years. And you see, they don't like getting a taste of their own medicine, so they're melting down as a result.
And ironically, too, I'm pretty sure they were like launching a campaign against Candace Owens, trying to say that she's a trans woman, but...
And I personally find this hilarious
I
because
don't know. Let's see
totally
what new
cool with
crazy shit
innuendo
they
and
come
false
out with today.
allegations and conspiracy theories.
You know shit is fucked when, like, I have to defend Candace Owens. I hate Candace Owens. I just want to put that out there. Off rip. Fucking can't stand her. She's a fucking raccoon-ass motherfucker. But how her place in the MAGA space further highlights how some black people try to assimilate to whiteness, and it doesn't work because they will never see you as one of their own.
Against their political opponents or just regular people when they think there's some political payoff for it. But now that Candace Owens is going after a sacred cow on the right, all of a sudden they're concerned about facts and evidence. So Candace Owens released a trailer for her upcoming investigative docuseries about Erica Kirk titled Bride of Charlie, which I'm assuming is a reference to the movie Bride of Chucky, presumably because there's a striking resemblance between Erica Kirk and Chucky's wife. And here's a clip from that trailer.
Erica Kirk has been named the new CEO of Turning Point USA.
My husband's dead. Like, I'm not trying to be morbid, but he's dead.
It's weird to say excited.
Describes her husband's funeral as the event of the century.
She did. She did describe her husband's funeral as the event of the century. What was she saying? Those shirt sales are up, guys! It's like, bitch, your husband was just assassinated in broad daylight and you're worried about fucking sales? Nobody knows why she's out there in the glitz.
Everyone grieves differently, so if someone's acting weird, don't read into that.
$8.6 million to their own shell company. What is going on?
He's going in on her. This is hilarious to me. I don't take any of this serious, but it is fucking hilarious just to see everything kind of come to fruition. Both Candace Owens and Erica Kirk are garbage people in their own right, but it is fucking funny to see them kind of going at each other. I'm not gonna lie.
But in Candace's defense, Erica Kirk's behavior has been extremely fucking bizarre. Does that warrant a multi-part doc?
It's true. Her behavior has been weird, but Candace Owens isn't doing this for the sake of getting to the truth. Candace Owens is doing this because she knows how to read the room, and she could see that people are already turning against the whole TPUSA crowd. People are turning against Israel. Her entire job is to read the room and farm views off of her, like, political standpoint. She's a fucking grifter. That's what she does, and she's reading the room right here with this subject. And she's noticing, man, people are really starting to hate Israel. Okay, they're both dog shit people.
series? No,
But
I wouldn't necessarily say
we're
that.
gonna get
But Erica
into
Kirk chose to be a public figure, and while that in no way justifies harassment towards her, all public figures are subjected to hyper scrutiny. And you're not going to get a pass just because your big break came out of tragic circumstances, especially if you keep doing things to make people question your motives. For example, people pointed out that Erica Kirk actually removed her and Charlie's wedding picture from the set while leaving basically everything else still in place.
Yeah, that's
like,
weird.
That's really, really weird. And sure, people grieve differently, but most people would find that strange, I think, even, you know, given how differently people grieve. And Candace is just doing what she's always done. She hasn't changed. Everybody else has changed. The only reason why conservatives suddenly take issue with her antics is because she's going after one of their own. See, when Candace Owens was transvestigating Bridget McCrone for years, that was totally fine. When Candace Owens released a propagandistic piece slandering George Floyd, who was murdered by...
I fucking hate the state of politics that America is in. The fact that, like, we could sit here and, like, try to investigate on whether somebody is trans and that being an actual valid criticism of a political opponent is so fucking ridiculous, bro. It's so ridiculous. There should be no reason why anybody should give a fuck about the gender of whatever person, you know, identifies with. I don't... And then just, like... Oh my god, bro. Both Candace and Charlie Kirk were trying to say the dumb shit about George Floyd being, you know, oh, he was under the influence, he didn't die. Like, as if half of America didn't clearly see him being choked out and brutalized by police officers. We live in such a weird time where if you just chirp the loudest, you can amass thousands of millions of people who fucking believe in anything behind you. It's crazy.
A cop on camera? They never clutched their pearls and accused her of going too far, even though, unlike Erica Kirk, George Floyd never asked to be a public figure, and he isn't even here to defend himself. But that didn't matter to conservatives. In fact, the same people criticizing her now actually promoted her hit piece on a murder victim, like the Daily Wire. But fast forward to today, and both of the Daily Wire's co-founders are accusing Candace of being, quote, evil for targeting Erica Kirk.
It's ironic coming from Ben Shapiro, Mr. number one Israel stan himself.
Man who was murdered, but she's crossing the line by going after a white woman whose white supremacist podcaster husband was murdered. It almost seems like Candace Owens was only useful to them when she was attacking black people at their behest, but now that the tables are turned, they're crying foul.
And that's exactly what it is. You know, Candace Owens was useful to the MAGA movement when she was attacking black people at the behest of these white supremacists, you know? But the difference is, this is the thing, and the overarching thing is, this is why, like, amassing large, copious amounts of capital can be an issue, right? This just shows another pitfall. They are not working or operating off of morality, they're operating off of profit gains, and so... You know, what stirs more profit in the entertainment industry than controversy? Nothing does, right? And so Candace Owens understands this, and that's exactly her entire framework for her show. You know, how can I amass as many clicks and views? She just essentially rage baits. That's essentially all these, like, right-wing grifters do, is rage bait, farm off the fucking rage bait, and then push this, like, asinine agenda on everybody, and then cry victim. The enemy is both seemingly weak and strong. They all fucking do the same shit.
And they're now forced to deal with the...
It was gonna eat itself, because fascism is a suicidal ideology, and all these people, whether they claim it or not, they all adhere to fascism.
Monster of their own making, and they fucking hate dealing with the monster of their own making. And by they, I mean basically every single conservative podcaster dickhead in the right-wing ecosystem who is undoubtedly pissed off at what Candace Owens is doing now, but would have cheered her on if, you know, she chose somebody that they felt was a more deserving target. But let's get to some of these examples of outrage here, because they were not happy. For example, Laura Loomer says none of his so-called friends are standing up for his poor wife, Miss Erica Kirk, as she's viciously attacked. Charlie thought he had friends. He had leashes. If Charlie had
no friends, let's be honest. Charlie had no friends. Only people who were there and knew that he had motion. Because, you know, love or hate the man, he did have motion. He was striking a nerve with people, whether it was, you know, whether what he stand for is good or not. He did amass a pretty decent following, right? A lot of these people that were in this right-wing grifter spheres was already kind of on the way out. Steven Crowder already on the way out. Ben Shapiro already kind of on the way out. So yeah, they were leeching off of him.
Charlie and I sparred at times over his nonstop gatekeeping and holier than thou attitude at times. I love how she's shit talking Charlie as she's trying to defend his wife. But I would never be so depraved as to attack his widow. This is sick and twisted. You'd attack him now that he's not here to defend himself, though, right? Mark Levin says Candace Owens is a monster. Those who defend her are monsters. Those with platforms who are silent are useless cowards. Robbie Starbucks says this is wildly disturbing and inappropriate. What Candace is doing is indefensible and deeply dishonors Charlie's memory. Erica was the love of his life and the mother of his children. He's not here to defend her in a way that he'd want to. He would have gone to war over this. Cat Turd even chimed in.
It's so funny. We're seeing two different reactions to the death of Charlie Kirk, where his wife is like, we need to just maximize profits. We need to just, I'm gonna take the helm and be a spokesperson and do all this weird shit and just like seemingly act like everything is fine and that like my husband wasn't assassinated in broad daylight. Whereas Candace Owens spiraling into conspiracy, you know, there was a trap door under him, thought all this it was Israel, which, you know, whether you believe that or not, it is funny to see the contrast between the two. And another thing is, this clearly shows that like Maga and the conservative movement, they do have the ability to recognize criticism, but only within their own range. They can never actually take the criticism that leftists have been telling them for years. They can never actually, in good faith, try to analyze the arguments that have been made against them, figure out for themselves on whether or not it's right or wrong. And it's the same thing with like how they view Donald Trump, right? You have all this fucking evidence of Donald Trump being a dog shit person, but we could never believe in what anybody tells us about him when we expose this evidence of him being a dog shit person.
Later says, I don't care if you are left or right, if you like Charlie Kirk or think he was awful, if you love Erica or hate Erica, this is beyond the pale of anything that should be accepted in society. Oh, that's rich coming from a fucking conservative. It's targeted harassment, bullying, and incitement against a grieving mother of young children at a level I don't think YouTube should be permitting. Oh,
it's so funny. Like I said, the enemy is both weak and strong at the same time. The enemy is both an assailant and is also a victim. And this, it's so crazy to me that any fucking MAGA Republican who has contributed to this asinine agenda could sit here and call somebody else evil when you guys are actively fucking playing ball and trying to cover up a fucking rich elite pedophilic cabal. When you guys are actively just doing imperialism in broad fucking daylight, invading countries that have nothing to do with you, all for the name of some oil, all for the name to protect some capital that only serves to benefit a very few. And I've said that already, but it is just so ironic to watch these people try to sit there and be like, oh, Candace Owens is bad. Like, yeah, you guys are all dog shit. You guys are all evil. You just don't like Candace Owens because she's doing evil in a way that's against you and not actually with you.
No one else could. She got them to put themselves in the shoes of somebody else. Look, that's honestly impressive. Now, whether or not they'll stick to this new empathetic approach is a different story, because like if you swap out Erica Kirk with Renee Good's wife or the family of Abrigo Garcia, would they still be able to put themselves in their shoes? Of course not, but baby steps.
That's exactly what I was saying earlier, you know. They're always able to have empathy when it only suits to benefit them, but never have empathy for just their fellow man. They didn't have empathy with Renee Good. They said she was a fucking domestic terrorist. They didn't have empathy for the families and homes that they ripped apart during their ICE fucking raids. They didn't have no empathy for any of that. But they do have an empathy for the widow of a white supremacist. It's fucking just chef's kiss.
Right? This is the first step to potentially being a little bit more empathetic in the future.
This guy's a lot more optimistic than I am,
most conservatives were
you know, that's
outraged
good.
over this, but nobody was more outraged than Dan Bongino and Ben Shapiro, because they talked about the trailer on camera and you could see how affected they were. Like when I say affected, I mean Dan Bongino looked like he was on the verge of tears over this trailer. And you got a taste of that at the beginning of this video, but that was just an appetizer. Now I'm going to give you the full entree.
Imagine sitting there in your house.
I can't take these people
And you find
serious.
out from Twitter or, I don't know, a text or a phone call or I can't imagine that. I know you can't.
The problem and why I say that this outrage is so performative, and this outrage is just so lackluster to normal people. Like I said, where was this outrage when you guys were ripping apart fucking families during your ICE raid? Where was this outrage when 2 fucking ICE officers murdered 2 innocent civilians in broad daylight, doing their fucking right to protest? This outrage is only selective for who they deem acceptable. And who they deem acceptable is whoever is pushing the white supremacist agenda. And the crazy part is, like,
fucking lunatics.
I keep pausing, but the crazy thing is, like, what the conservative movement, like, serves to protect, serves to benefit, is not even everyday Americans. It's only a rich elite few, because most Americans don't realize that they're in a constant class struggle in general. This agenda only serves to protect the rich elite or capital. It doesn't serve to protect you, a fucking worker, a farmer, but they don't know that because they're not class conscious.
Fuck you. Go fuck yourself. You demonic fucking scum. You deserve to feel the little licks of the flames of hell.
Right. Condemn them to hell. So Christian-like.
Hey, Dan, I know that you're probably not going to see this because you have me blocked, but I still have to ask, where was this energy for any of the elite pedophiles that you covered up for as deputy director of the FBI? We didn't get a fraction of this anger and empathy for any of Epstein's victims, not to mention Trump's accusers. In fact, you lied to the public to defend these elite pedophiles. Where was your righteous indignation back then?
Yeah. Where was this outrage when accusers in the Epstein files came up missing?
I just can't believe these people. It's so hard for me to take conservatives seriously when it comes to issues relating to morality. Because these are the most morally bankrupt people in the fucking world who spend 99.9% of their days thinking of new ways to make life worse for most people on the planet. So spare me the fake
They're morally bankrupt, and any of their morality that they do perform is purely performative. It's never genuine. They don't express genuine empathy. But I do want to dive deeper
into Ben Shapiro's monologue because he seemed genuinely shocked by Candace Owens' actions. Like, he couldn't fathom how
I can't wait for Ben Shapiro.
I mean, watching a genocide unfold for 2.5 years wasn't shocking at all to him, but a trailer for a hit piece on the widow of a white supremacist,
actually, it's not a genocide.
Shocking behavior to him, and he just can't believe that anybody could possibly be so cruel.
Candace has spent the last several months attacking the widow of Charlie Kirk, Erica Kirk. It took her just a few days after Charlie's sick murder in order to start casting.
Hey, first off, I just want to say, I don't understand how Ben Shapiro still has a fucking career. Okay, he's extremely annoying. That's just the way he talks is so like. But outside of that, just horrible take after horrible take. And like I said before, what's happening in the right conservative sphere right now is there is a rift in the base of support. He is on the side of Israel. He has to protect Israel at all costs. Whereas the other side, they're anti-Israel, but they're not just anti-Israel. They're also actually anti-Semitic. So you have him kind of playing into this role that kind of gives these like Nazi-ass fucking conservatives, it empowers them to be even more Nazi than what they were before.
Aspersions at Turning Point USA, people who work there all the way up to the highest levels, up to and including Erica Kirk. She was doing that very, very quickly, and she's been doing it for months. She came out with something that she had announced she was doing, which is a series. This is a trailer for a series, a teaser trailer that is titled Bride of Charlie, which is supposedly now an expose on the evil, nefarious, predatory nature of Erica Kirk, the widow of Charlie Kirk, who again was shot in the neck, not by some sort of vast conspiracy involving French intelligence and Egyptian airplanes.
No matter how many times you say that, I don't think people are going to care as much as you think they are, you know?
Loving gay man who is a furry, because Candace Owens is
what?
Either going through the throes.
Hold on. That just threw me the fuck off. What?
Who is a widow of Charlie Kirk, who again was shot in the neck, not by some sort of vast conspiracy involving French intelligence and Egyptian airplanes,
but by a trans-loving gay man
who is a furry.
Why did he feel the need to throw in the furry? Was that what is that what Tyler Robinson was? He was a furry? Can somebody confirm this for me? Because this is new information to me. What a weird thing to like be stuck on. And I thought he wasn't trans. I thought his fucking roommate was trans. But even then, I hate how they disingenuously try to market these fucking shooters as if it's not their own people that are committing these fucking mass shootings, bro. Even if a shooter is trans, the amount of trans mass shooters compared to white right-leaning Christian shooters isn't even a point of a percentage compared to how many white, cisgendered, Christian nationalist, right-winging adjacent men commit these heinous crimes. It's just disingenuous. But like I said, they have to constantly position themselves as a victim. But yo, I just, somebody sent me the link to this nigga being a furry, because that's fucking hilarious. Truly Charlie Kirk's worst nightmare. Truly.
Or because she is a sick human being, or both, she has decided that she is going to turn her fire on the widow. This is the stuff that Candace Owens has been doing.
I think what a lot of these right-wing grifters really just showcase is the lack of media literacy in America and the lack of actual like intellectualism. So many people will just watch this shit and just eat it up. Just eat that shit up. And it's like, all you guys have to do is think. Like, all you have to do is think, and you don't even gotta think hard, bro. You just, it's like a fucking Google search away. It's so crazy. And that's why they attack the schools first. Let's be honest. America has been trying to underfund and dismantle our education system for like 20 plus years. And this is why. So during the second wave, the second right, they can push this fucking bullshit propaganda out on people and people won't second guess it ever.
Oh, the irony. See, slandering people is absolutely terrible. That is, unless, of course, it's directed at George Floyd. If that's the case, then Ben Shapiro's outlet, The Daily Wire, will publish and promote that slander. And if George Floyd's family decided to sue over that, something tells me that Ben Shapiro would not support that lawsuit. Because, see, these tactics are only acceptable to the right insofar as they are directed at appropriate targets. See, the right collectively decided that they were going to blame the entire LGBTQ community for Charlie Kirk's murder, but Candace Owens is throwing a wrench in their plans, and that's why they're so upset. Because all of these lies were supposed to be directed towards innocent queer people, but since they're now being directed at one individual with power and money, they don't like that. It's not the right target. And even though she got a cease and desist from the organization back in January, she hasn't stopped. I mean, she momentarily made it seem like she was going to cool it after she had a private meeting with Erica Kirk, but once her audience accused her of being paid off, she went right back to milking these conspiracy theories. So you can understand why the right is pissed off, because she's doing real damage to the conservative movement, not only by dividing them, but by discrediting one of their most prominent organizations. And to that I say, thank you, Candace. Thank you very much. Continue.
Let them fight. But it's not really just Candace Owens doing it. Like, she's not doing it because she has some sort of moral high ground. Like, Candace Owens is objectively dog shit, like I said in the beginning of this video. But the thing you have to understand is that what they subscribe to is fascism. And fascism in of itself, is a suicidal ideology. It will always eat itself. It has all throughout history. Every place where fascism has popped up, it eventually eats itself. And that is what we are seeing right now today. Each day goes on where their cover-ups get less and less convincing, more and more sloppy. They stir shit up around the world like useless, pointless wars, invading other countries, all this shit because they are losing their political power. I mean, if you think about it, Trump has the lowest approval rating in history of like since the conception of our fucking country. They know that they're losing, right? And so they have to do things quick. They have to do things now. And this is why I said the enemy is both strong and weak. I'm going to pull up an excerpt so I could explain that to you guys. Okay, so what I wanted to pull up was this quote from Umberto Eco. He wrote an analysis on fascism to try and understand some of the core tenets of fascism and how it manifests. And one of those features of fascism that he wrote about, the enemy is both strong and weak. The followers must be convinced that they can overwhelm the enemies. Thus, by a continuous shifting of rhetorical focus, the enemies are at the same time too strong and too weak. How are we seeing this in today's society under this current regime? They are powerful, but they're also victims. That is how they always prop themselves. They're powerful, but they're always victims. And they say things like, immigrants steal jobs, but also are lazy and want to steal our benefit and take advantage of what little social safety nets that we have. And because how can they seemingly be stealing all the jobs, but are also lazy? And because of their laziness, they're also taking advantage of a system that barely works. They're the problem. They are seemingly too strong and too weak. It's the same thing how liberals are weak crybabies, but also they're a serious danger to society. They're all trying to turn everybody gay. They're trying to take masculinity out of homes. They're trying to remove men from the equation, but also seemingly they're crybabies and they're frail and they're weak and they run off emotion. This in of itself is a contradiction, because fascism has to always position itself as powerful and inevitable, but also victims of a problem. And it has to do this because it serves to capture an audience that doesn't think. It serves to capture people who aren't critical thinkers. It serves to capture people who won't apply any level of scrutiny towards it. It needs to galvanize a base behind them, because ultimately fascism actually is antagonistic to the people. It's antagonistic to the working class. They have to galvanize as many people as they can, because without a base of support, they'll be scrutinized for their heinous actions. It only serves the elite. Another feature of fascism is anybody who disagrees with you is treasonous. It is treason to disagree or question. They build this cult-like following where they all kiss the boot of some godlike figurehead, right? And in this case, it's Donald Trump. But questioning him is treason. And we see that right now with the Epstein files. There's a rift in the base. Some things you just can't ignore. Something even the most brain-dead individuals will look at and be like, huh, that is kind of weird. And it is these two functions of fascism that shields them from any level of scrutiny or any sort of criticism. And it allows them to continue to propagandize people, push their harmful rhetoric, and do heinous action upon others. It continues to let them be antagonistic to the working class, be antagonistic to the people of this country, because they are galvanizing the base through those two tactics. And that's why I wanted to bring up those things, because this whole infighting within the Republican base just further highlights how those functions actually work. Let me know what you guys think. I had a great time watching this video. If you guys like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.
Yeah.